we are meeting today with the 8th grade science team at ECMS. This is our PLC meeting, and the main purpose of our meeting today is to start thinking about our 8th grade FSA science review. At our last meeting, we discussed and started making a benchmark test that would cover the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade standards in an effort to see what we need to focus our efforts on during our FSA review time. Sage, do you want to keep the meeting
I'll keep
today?
It.
And Karen, do you want to kind of keep us on track and focus on what we're doing?
Yep.
So I think part of our purpose today is to finish our test, which, how many questions were we aiming for that one?
35 to 45, somewhere in that neighborhood. Is
Okay.
that right? Or was it maybe a little
I'd say
bit more?
around 50 probably by the end of it.
It seems like we had 38 yesterday.
So it'll be close to
maybe.
50, I think, by
Okay.
the time we get through life science.
So we identified 32 standards from 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. The last meeting we had, we covered the nature of science standards, we covered the earth and space science standards, and physical science. So today, once we get started, we'll be focusing on our life science standards and questions.
Did you guys have a chance to look at your data from the district test that we gave through All in Learning?
Yeah.
Because when I looked at mine, the weaker areas for my kids were the earth and space standards and the life standards. Those were the ones that they struggled with the most. So I know we're gonna have to hit that pretty heavy in review.
Same.
And as I noticed today, when we were starting photosynthesis and cellular respiration, my kids did tell me that when they went home for COVID in 6th grade, they did not get cells at all, and they don't understand any of it. So I feel like we're gonna have to spend a little extra time on that.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's good to know. And so, is there anything else that we need to reflect on that test? From the
I think, well, just because I'm with meeting school improvement chair, I did bring our school improvement plans, just for you guys to kind of review.
Okay.
Last year, our school data for 2021 or 21-22 was that 67% of the ECMS students scored a 3 or above, and our goal for this year will be a 72. So we're hoping to achieve that, and hopefully this benchmark that we're creating will give us a little indication of what we need to really focus on.
Okay, great. I think we can do that. 72. I think we can, because my kids, from the first test to the second test, every class except for one went over the 70% already. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. I had one class that I need to really focus on because they were slightly below at 68% on that.
Okay.
So average wise. So
Karen, because Karen and I both teach
Yeah,
core, so our numbers are.
I know, of course, yeah.
So of course I didn't print out my data sheet here, but if I can operate my phone, I've got the number of students in every class, and the percentages are probably gonna be about the same. So I had 2% in first periods, and 3 of my students made it
About
to 70.
yeah, that's not
And then second period was 3, third period was 5, fourth was 4, 7th was 2. So all 2 to 5% is where I'm sitting at overall.
So I have 3 classes of core, and my overall percentage that made us 70 or higher was only 7% mid-year.
Yeah,
was
so
in
that's probably about
January.
right.
My first period was 10%, made us 70 or higher.
And I'm sure y'all's kids are like mine, that earth and space, that life especially. I mean, once we review that, the score's gonna come up. So when we do that again, I feel confident in that. Okay.
And just to kind of reiterate with our school improvement plan, one of our big objectives that is dealing with our science goal is that throughout the year, students will identify and become proficient with the Florida science standards in their grade level. So that is kind of reiterating our purpose today and making that benchmark assessment.
All right. So do we want to jump right into this test? Are y'all ready to look at these questions? And
Sounds good to me.
okay, so we left off at life science, and we're looking at the thing from last couple of tests. So this standard, the next standard on our list is 14.1, 14.2, 14.4, 14.5 living systems.
So, yeah, there's 5 standards from 6th grade, so maybe we wanna do a couple extra questions in
Yeah,
there.
that's probably a heavy hit
That's a
one.
weak
Alright,
area
so
for sure.
the first one is organ systems, I think is what I saw here, and
Mhm.
this one's specifically on the circulatory system. It says the circulatory system carries white blood cells produced by the immune system to fight a virus.
So organ systems, yeah, structural organization,
Okay, so
for
that's a
sure.
question, this one. This would probably be a good one too, knowing that.
Yes, I like the
Okay.
plant cell to animal cell.
Add that one about mitochondria. Cells have methods for breaking down proteins and other molecules that are no longer needed.
I don't know if that's, they get that too into that standard too, I
I
think
don't
that's
think
too
it goes that deep.
specialized,
Can
yeah.
you read the standard and the actual standard?
Yes, I'll,
Because
I
they
actually
You
have
should just be able to click, or
No,
is it not?
I would have to
showing
go
up
back
there?
out.
Oh, I see.
but I have
Okay.
them.
because I believe in the standard, you don't have to know specifically about each of the systems.
Describe and identify patterns in the hierarchical organization of organisms from atoms to molecules and cells to tissues to organs to organ systems to organisms. So I think the hierarchy is what, kind of what we're looking for that
Mhm.
I
one.
don't think I have the same thing, or did you print
I
that?
printed this
Oh,
one, yeah, that's.
So, and I have
This
this
is
one that has it.
Okay, this is different.
Here we go. The standard for 14.5 says identify, and investigate the general functions of the major systems of the human body. It says items are limited to the human digestive system, respiratory, circulatory, reproductive, excretory, immune, nervous, and musculoskeletal systems. That's a tongue twister. Okay.
And I think a big
So-
part of that is how to maintain homeostasis, so that's
And linking them
probably a
in,
question
yes.
we need to look for.
So let's try to find one on homeostasis, and then maybe the levels of organization is also a good one to put in there. Okay, here we go.
That's
There
a
it
good,
is,
that's a
perfect.
great one.
Diagram,
Yeah.
boom.
Alright. Cells, again,
That's a good one that you just passed up, that's a hierarchy, right
This
there,
one?
because it goes from cell and tissue to organ, organ system and organism.
and this other one, cell, tissue, organ, so they have to know this is an organ. So, we were trying to do all multiple choice, but we could throw this one in here if you wanted to. Would you rather do this one?
No, I like the picture,
Okay,
yeah, I mean, that's,
let's see. This is, we're ruling out these, that you have to
Multiple,
pick
right.
multiples.
answers.
Alright, this is the function of the cell membrane,
that is one of those.
and that is one of the ones, that's from 14.4. And content limit says items assessing cellular structures are limited to cell wall, cell membrane, nucleus, cytoplasm, chloroplast, mitochondria, and vacuoles. So that is a
could be
possibility.
Possibility, compare and contrast.
This is knowing that the cell membrane transports things, but I don't think, and that looks like something that would be on the biology EOC in high school, but not,
Probably
not here. Okay, the diagram of the digestive system is shown below. So here's a function of the digestive system. Again,
That would be something that's a high level question there, that would be a
Yeah.
good one.
so that's,
I'd say that's a good one.
that's 3 from here.
Yeah, it's
How many
got
did
the
you say we need?
diagram.
That's respiratory. That's not kinda easy, but
Yeah, exchange of.
circulatory. Excretory is not on one, excretory is not one they're tested on. Reproductive is,
I would think when we get to reproductive, we'd be doing more with
Meiosis.
mitosis, maybe a question like that.
Yes.
immune.
That actually might be a good one right there. I feel like there's.
Oh, here's
questions about-
homeostasis. It's just defining it. Here's a better one maybe.
I think that's better,
I
it's
do
more
too.
reading,
Right,
having more
more higher
level.
order. You think that's enough from this
I
section?
think so.
I think so, yeah.
Alright, cause we did 6 questions from living systems, that's more than we've done from any. but that's okay.
And
That's
if we wanna
probably
go
their
back
weaknesses are those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is probably, yeah. Alright, oh, sorry, I went too fast here. Alright, classification, natural selection, evolution, 15.1 and 15.2.
Okay, so this one is
Diversity.
kingdoms and classification of organisms.
Alright, so
And-
content limits, do you want me to read the content limits?
Yeah, go
Okay, items may assess how characteristics are used to classify organisms, but will not assess specific characteristics of individual types of organisms. Items assessing the classification of organisms into domains are limited to bacteria, archaea, and eukarya. Items assessing the classification of organisms into kingdoms are limited to protist, fungus, plants, and animal. Items may use scientific names and term binomial nomenclature, but will not require specific knowledge of organisms' scientific names, obviously. Items may assess knowledge of the hierarchy of classification, but will not assess the specific characteristics of organisms classified in a particular phylum, class, order, family, genus, or species. Okay.
So analyze and describe how and why organisms are classified according to shared characteristics, with emphasis on the lineage system combined with the concept of domains.
Let's see what we can find here. So that may be
That's more
going
of
into
evolution.
15.2.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
right here.
So, yeah, 15.2 must be assessed in this one too. Explore the scientific theory of evolution by recognizing and explaining ways in which genetic variation and environmental factors contribute to evolution by natural selection and diversity of organisms. It will not
Genetic
address-
variation was on the 2018
Okay.
assessment, so
So
that would
this
be a good one.
is, this could possibly be one.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That looks
That's homologous structures.
Yeah, is that, are they tested on that? I know that's a high school
That's a 15
standard. It's not listed as when it's tested, so I would think that's probably not. The image below shows an infected treated with an antibiotic. So antibiotic resistance.
We do have, 14.5 is infectious agents, viruses. I don't know if that's in the
All right.
same. Not sure what-
Items assessing infectious agents are limited to viruses, bacteria, and fungi. Items may assess the interactions of no more than 3 systems.
That's an iffy one, I
Yeah.
guess. That one. That would maybe be a good one, this one.
Alright, so how are domains X and Y different from Z? So X, Y, and Z. Organisms in X and Y have cells without. Okay, I thought it said with. I was like, what? Okay. So this is like prokaryotic, eukaryotic,
Yeah.
prokaryote, eukarya.
But you got the no virus and bacteria.
Is that,
I don't know.
That's a different standard, I think. This
Yeah.
14.5 is the bacteria and viruses and 15.1 is the kingdoms.
yeah,
So we could do both of them, really.
yeah. Do you wanna add this one, yes or no?
I mean, I think that my kids probably aren't gonna get that one, but that might, I don't know.
Be
Do-
okay.
That'd
I
be
think it's-
good, yeah.
I think it's confusing.
Okay.
In
A
that
little bit.
you would have to know
Well, and it
bacteria.
says-
But you, the
From
thing that I
will
think is
not
difficult
assess
is that you have to know
specific character.
archaea bacteria. My kids know bacteria or prokaryotes, but I'm not sure, we didn't really talk
But they
about
know.
archaea bacteria, which is what X would be representing, right?
Right,
So,
Well, it
That might
says
just
that
be
it-
a little more than they need to know.
It will not assess the specific characteristics of organisms classified into a particular phylum, class, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay, let's
So I
skip
feel
that
like
one.
that's
maybe we'll find a better
a
one.
little too specific.
now that one I think is a good question. I think they get confused with prokaryotes and eukaryotes, so
Okay.
hitting that home.
Scientists.
be better one about natural selection.
One, fossil evidence provides support for the idea that modern organisms have evolved from earlier species.
I would definitely do one about fossil evidence, that's for team
Okay.
2, that would be a good one.
Okay, we don't like that one, or that one, or that one. Here we go. So again, this is identifying, we've already got one on prokaryotic cells.
It's kind of the same question.
Which of the following?
They're asking a lot because it is a standard that gets confused. Look at all these questions.
There's a lot to try to read them out.
Gosh.
What will happen if sudden changes in an environment occur and no individuals of a population are able to adapt to changes? So
That actually,
I like
that would be a good one, unless there's a
Yeah.
better one with natural selection, maybe.
the
Yeah,
golden.
when
That-
it says, within a changing environment,
So this one you might
That
like
actually-
I
with the
like that
picture.
because it has a scenario.
Yeah, I like the frog one.
I removed the other one
I
as
just
the
like
frog.
the frog.
You like the frog, that's right.
I just like the frog.
That's good, okay, so that would be,
Alright, so where are we at? What are we?
so do we get one for kingdoms? Classification of organisms
I
and
like-
kingdoms,
You got finches here.
finches.
They love the
They
finches.
do like the finches.
And you know what that comes down to? Definition.
I know,
Look at the
I
bottom, you're
know,
reading
it's
all
an
that.
easy question.
Comes down to a definition of
Evolution.
evolution.
Do we need that one, or are we getting too many?
We got, I think we could do another one, cause there, it says 2.
I like
Okay.
So that's probably good, just to have that.
Giraffes are cool too. Here's a kingdom. What is one reason why fungi were separated into a new kingdom? Oh,
Is that
yeah, that's a high school.
untested, though,
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
that's a high school standard. A sea anemone is in the animal kingdom, even though it resembles a plant.
Oh. that might be
Oh
good.
yeah, because they
With
have to
cell
know that
walls.
cell walls are.
Yeah.
Good.
So that would be our cell wall question.
That might be hard though, they may put B. But that's okay. Right?
Yes.
Alright, save it,
I think so.
or do you wanna look at other
So
kingdoms?
we don't have a kingdom question still,
That was,
or is that?
I mean, this one's talking about the animal kingdom
Oh,
versus the
okay,
plant
thank you,
kingdom.
never mind, yep, we got it.
Or we could do one, take that one off, and in which kingdom are both unicellular and multicellular organisms found? Ooh, they might be hard. That's kind of high school biology, kind of. Prokaryotes.
Did we have the question about viruses, did we add that one? Do we wanna go back up and add that one, and just, that would knock off that standard?
Was that a, binomial nomenclature right there? Yeah, it says binomial answer, so yes, that would be the answer to that question. Did we need to add that, though, is where I was going with that. I thought it said the Linnaean system. Specific names in the term binomial nomenclature, but won't
Again,
require
that's
specific
just a
knowledge.
definition right there.
Yeah, I think they're okay on that one.
Okay.
This is hierarchy, kingdom of the class order. So we were looking maybe for something on viruses?
Viruses or bacteria, infectious agents. Wasn't there a question up at the top, what is that?
They had the archaeobacteria like kingdom one,
They had
but
all
I don't
the
remember one on
pictures.
Okay.
viruses. I haven't seen a virus
This
yet.
is 14.5.
So that's the bacteria, yeah. I don't remember anything on bacteria.
Okay,
I mean, on viruses. There was this
that.
one, but that's
Okay.
archaic bacteria, archaea. Unless, oh, this was bacterial resistance. We took that one out, I think. Yeah. You just add those.
I think so.
Okay, next. Reproduction, genetics, and heredity, 61.
So this is Punnett
Punnett
squares,
squares.
chromosomes, genotypes.
Here it is.
16.1, understand and explain that every organism requires a set of instructions that specifies its traits. That this hereditary information, DNA, contains genes located in the chromosomes of each cell, and that heredity is the passage of these instructions from one generation to another. Also assesses 16.2, which is Punnett squares and pedigrees, genotype, phenotype, and 16.3, which is sexual, asexual reproduction, meiosis, and mitosis. Okay.
I think we need a couple questions here, cause I think, just the ones I've talked to didn't get a lot of this at the end of last year.
Okay. So the image below shows the processes of mitosis and meiosis. How do the products of mitosis compare to the products of meiosis? The cells for mitosis are identical to each other and to the parent cell, but the cells for meiosis are not. My kids will know that. We're learning this right now. So, I think that's okay.
It's got a diagram.
Yeah. So even if they didn't really know a whole lot, they could use a diagram.
Cause I don't think, they don't have to memorize the.
No, it just said,
steps.
right, I was looking at that, it said
So
that
what I
they
told
don't
mine
have to know,
over here, my learning
steps.
targets. My essential question is like, what's the difference between mitosis and meiosis? Like, and then how do they relate to reproduction? So I am kind of like at these, like, we're doing review stations going over the phases just so that they are familiar with them for biology next year, and, you know, making it that level 4, because on my achievement level descriptors here, which there's some typos and I apologize, but this is how I broke this one down because I've been trying to show these to them even though they're not our standards they're reviewing. Level 1, I can define asexual and sexual reproduction. Level 2, how do those relate to meiosis and mitosis? And then level 3, I put that they can explain the type of cells produced, the number of cells produced, and the basic processes. And then for the level 4, to give it that next step, be able to look at diagrams or descriptions and identify the phases. So that was that level 4 for the advanced kids. So, but they're not gonna be tested on the FSSA on that, but just to kind of make it that advanced level, that's what I put. But with this one, they're not having to identify phases, they're just needing to know.
Yeah, the question
And what the
is just-
standard says is
right.
like general processes. I think that the outcome is a general process.
yeah, no, I
Right.
agree.
No, I agree.
So we good?
Yeah, add that one.
Pedigrees? Yeah, it says
Say they have to know about pedigrees.
limitations. Students will use Punnett squares and pedigrees to determine genotypic and phenotypic probabilities. I'm gonna put one pedigree and then one Punnett square.
Yeah, I think so.
But the Punnett squares I did read do not do incomplete dominance, codominance, multiple
Yeah.
alleles. So here's a basic one.
Yep, basic,
Bluefish, greenfish. How many will have blue scales?
perfect.
Alright, so now this is the other part of that where it talks about chromosomes and genes. So being able to identify that that's a gene.
Hierarchy, yeah, I think that's actually good.
So that DNA makes up the. Okay.
Sounds good.
Alright,
Okay, I just saw that, Punnett squares.
Punnett squares.
Did that one. Alright, next is food webs, 17
Matter, yep, 18.4 is what it says on here. 17.2 is down here.
Okay, sure. Just do it.
Here, it's 18.4.
I'm so sorry. Sorry, I keep reaching out like I could move my arm in.
Your arms aren't long enough is the problem, it's not that I'm in your way, your arms
Alright.
are just too short.
A wooded area experienced extreme drought after years of little rainfall. What was the most likely effect of the drought on the ecosystem?
Are we doing 17.2 or 18.4?
Good question. Let's go back real quick.
Well, 18.4 is,
17.2.
17.2, okay.
we're on 17.2?
Yeah.
Never mind.
17.2.
Food
I'm
webs,
just
limiting factors, we definitely need a question about limiting factors, and I'd try to find a question, with a food web diagram as
Okay.
well.
So it says, compare and contrast the relationship among organisms, mutualism, predation, parasitism, competition, commensalism, producers, consumers, decomposers, food webs, okay, and limiting factors. So those are kind of the standards. So that's 17, 2, 1, and 3. So competition is this question's on competition, predation, mistletoe. So parasitism. Okay,
That one they have to compare, that's a question.
this one?
Yeah. It's hard, but. I don't know.
So it's like an analogy, is that what it's
Yeah,
giving?
that's an analogy.
Let's add it, we can remove it if we find
Okay.
something better or
I like
different.
it.
No. No, here we go, competition.
Is that one of the ones?
Yeah, but we,
Oh, yeah, it's good.
alright, more competition. Oh, here we go.
Okay, that's good, a food web.
What would happen if the grasshopper population had a major increase? So you would have to, or let's see what this one says. What would happen if the algae were removed? I think that's more likely of what they would ask.
I like that one.
I do too.
Alright. Animals, including humans, need shelter, food, water, air, so this is limiting factors, I'm assuming. How do animals satisfy their basic needs? I love that.
Kind of level one,
Predator prey using a food web? I don't know if that's something, again, we've got one of those already. Okay, tell me.
Right there, sorry, I can't talk. Limiting factors, what happens if one of them, the fox decline, never mind, it's
That's
not
like
what
the
I
other
thought
one,
it said.
right?
Never mind, I just,
It's okay. Which of the following ecosystem changes would impact this population of weavers the most?
It's kind of a food web.
Same thing,
Food
we've
web
got a food
question,
web.
excuse me,
Okay.
Limiting factors.
they compete with other large parts.
Competition. All these are competition. Okay, a disease which infects the baby mice shortly after birth.
Population growth would most likely be limited by,
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's a
Maybe
possibility.
Possible, yeah.
I wish you could start, you know,
I
just
know, just like put a star
like
next
flag
to
them
it.
to come back to and look at.
Well, I
what
mean,
they're
I can hit the add button and we
You
can
can always remove it, yeah, that's true.
kind of,
Basic.
no. Alright, which is my internet? No. Wanna do a mutualism?
We could do that, I think that would actually be good.
Alright. So we're still looking for one for,
Limiting factors.
A limiting factor.
Shelter, nesting sites, and or space.
What was the one about birds forced to migrate to another area?
I like this one with the graph. Do we have any graphs yet?
I
feel
don't
like
think
we
so,
have a graph
this is a good
question.
one.
So maybe we'll go remove that other one and
I
add
like
this
that
one.
one better, cause it's got a.
And here's another one, predator prey, and it's also a graph. So which one do you like better? Deer populations versus time?
I like the overtime one.
Okay,
comparing.
or this one's over
Well,
time
it's overtime
too.
too, but.
Well, I like the specific deer.
Yeah, I
Okay.
do too.
So we didn't see one on limiting factors. This was
Shelter,
with,
nesting sites, or space.
It was,
Yeah,
This
food
one, right?
webs,
Yeah.
mutualism.
okay. Maybe it's gonna be,
This is 17.2.
Was
What was it?
Yeah,
18.4.
limiting factors is 17.2.
18.4 is where this is. This is matter and energy transformations, does that sound right? 18.4?
Living systems.
Cite evidence that living systems follow the laws of conservation of mass and energy.
Okay, conservation of energy.
So this also
Carbon
does
cycle,
cellular respiration,
photosynthesis.
okay. And there's also a whole nother question bank on photosynthesis and cellular
Yes.
respiration, so
Okay.
we probably won't see those here, but. What do you think?
I don't really like those color diagrams because they're not gonna have something like that on the side. Well, we kinda already did them.
Yeah, that's decomposer factors.
It says that
Energy
they
pyramid.
won't use trophic levels. I saw that in one of the content notes. Items will not address in energy pyramids or use the term trophic level.
Really? Huh.
For 17.2, but does that mean they will use it for 18.4? Or does that mean they won't see those at all? I'm on page 98, that's where I was. What the,
18.4 cite evidence that living systems follow the laws of conservation of mass and energy. I think a law of conservation of energy would be good on mass. Either one of
Ultimate
those.
source of energy, all this is on,
Those aren't good questions because they're not
there's one, the sun, from the sun to producers, through producers to consumers, that kind of shows how the energy moves.
maybe,
Maybe come back to
Yeah.
that one.
It's not the best.
living system.
Oh, that would
Here
be
we go.
good.
Nope, I like that one.
Law of conservation of mass and energy.
Okay, check.
Check.
I was gonna see if there was one in here, cause we were missing the one on, what was on that last, if they put it in the wrong section,
Limiting factors.
limiting factors, right? So, feeding relationships, producers, consumers, heterotrophs, autotrophs. See anything now? Nope, okay. Save those,
I think so.
and then last is photosynthesis, respiration, carbon cycle.
Yep.
Okay, which statement best describes what is being shown in the diagram? Carbon is cycled through an ecosystem, so this is carbon cycle.
So 18.4 still. Well, 18.3, page
Page-
98
Yeah,
still it
1830,
is.
yeah. I mean, that's okay.
Construct a scientific model of the carbon cycle to show how matter and energy are continuously transferred within and between organisms and their physical environment.
So they have to look, it doesn't say carbon anywhere in the diagram, they have to know that, you know,
Yeah.
it's carbon that's being cycled through. Oh wait, the
It
diagram
does
shows
say,
the
yeah.
movement of carbon, that kinda gives the answer away, that's maybe, but they probably wouldn't even read that. This is photosynthesis and cellular respiration. That's a lot for a,
We just did the Generation Genius today, and they actually blew.
Yeah, we did that.
Did you watch that?
We
So
did
that was like right from the.
We did that as a lab last year, where they
Oh, wait,
they have to do jumping
nice.
jacks and blow into cabbage
Yeah.
juice. My room smelled like fart.
mass
3
is
days, it's
conserved
great.
during photosynthesis, so mass law of conservation of mass, but we already
We
have one
have
of
one,
those.
yeah.
The diagram of the carbon oxygen cycle is shown below. Oh, that might be okay.
Carbon dioxide from the
And that kind
removal
of carbon
ties
dioxide, yeah.
photosynthesis and,
And the
cellular
carbon cycle.
respiration and all that.
And the carbon cycle, right?
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that one. Well, this takes it even another step further to know that it's used to make sugar. Do you like this one more, or do you like this one more?
Which of the following is
I like that.
responsible, and then what is, so it's the same question, it looks like, it just kicks it up a notch.
Right.
I kind of like the top one.
Okay,
myself.
stay with it.
Yeah,
Alright.
same.
Law of conservation of mass, done that one, we did that one. The main reason cells carry out cellular respiration is to release energy.
We're inside 5 minutes before the break.
Okay, so we need to pick really quickly, what are we missing? Do we need,
Probably just one more.
One
Do
more.
we have a I was gonna
photosynthesis?
say photosynthesis is what we need.
this is cellular respiration, which is defined as a
Product
product,
of the photosynthesis, starting substances.
the reactions of photosynthesis occur, you need sunlight, they occur in the leaves, we need water. The carbon that plants need for photosynthesis comes from,
That's.
did they do that one? Necessary, oh wait, here we go. Living organisms need energy, green plants get this energy by undergoing photosynthesis. Oh, that's good, you
Oh,
like
that
that?
is good, yes,
That one's a good one.
that should check the box.
Alright, safe selections. Alright, so here we are. Got them all. 62 questions, that's a little more than we wanted, but I mean, they're gonna have to be able to do it, and they can do it over 2 class periods.
Yeah, I
They
was
can do
gonna
2
say, I
class
think we could break
periods.
it up, and I think that would be,
And then we can have something extra later.
Just to add to that, the 2 class periods is probably a good idea anyway, because that's the way the FSA is delivered.
That's
Yeah,
It's 2 sessions.
Great, yeah.
Okay.
So even though, it's a little longer than you want, I think it's
Yeah.
valid.
And that's actually about the same amount of questions,
You're
right?
exactly right.
Isn't it 57?
It's
last year?
it's pretty close.
so around
Something like that?
60, always,
Yeah,
give or take.
That's good.
Yeah. So I
Alright,
think you're right on target.
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's good. So,
Show me how to get to this again.
I'm gonna create the assignment
Okay.
now. I think. Maybe that's not what I'm doing. I don't need to assign it yet. Hold on, cancel. So, I am going to share this test.
Okay, that's nice. And it just shares it to
And when you
anybody?
guys, yeah, it should be to
Okay.
anybody in the district if they know how to get to it, but you come here to my test library and then select 8th grade and then select science and hit submit.
Okay,
And
created by others, right?
then, right, created by others, and mine should be in there.
And then,
Okay.
the delivery of this will be when? Next week?
I can do it next week.
Or-
She's already starting to review. We're a
We
little
are
bit
quite-
behind. Yeah, we're not quite there, so maybe the
Maybe
end of
come
next week.
Maybe
for
come
me.
back next month and we'll look at the data from that. So
Sounds
give you like a month to
Yeah,
everybody.
sounds good. So next month we'll look at this data.
Sounds
Okay.
good. Sounds like
Very good. Thanks,
I'll
everybody.
type up the minutes and send it to you guys. And if you guys will check on Study Island and make sure it's under